It's kind of hard to believe, but historic Hawkstone Park hosts the Revo British Motocross this weekend for the first time since before Covid stopped play. It was 2019 when the Premier British Series last went to the Sandy Circuit in Shropshire, and the venue's had so many historic GPs over the years, some great moments, including of course George Jobet jumping over Andre Malherbe and Dave Thorpe doing his double in 1984, his first ever big double win. Now let's go back to July 2019, the last British Championship there, and Sean Simpson took a double win from Tommy Searle and Harri Kullas. They're also in the results, but not riding full-time anymore, with fourth place Jake Nichols, plus Jake Shipton, Jamie Law, Brad Anderson, Lewis Toombs and Nev Bradshaw. Now with Sean Simpson badly banged up from his crash at the last round at Blacksall, we'll definitely have a new look to the frontrunners this year. It's all been about Harri Kullas and those two Honda upstarts, Conrad Mewse and his teammate Josh Gilbert. Kullas has had the red plate from the very first moto of the season in that mudfest at Oakhanger, and to be honest, it was starting to look pretty ominous for the rivals. Kullas often starts the season in relatively slowly, then just gets stronger and stronger. Of course he knows that, so this year really focused on hitting the start of the season as hard as possible, and he did just that at Oakhanger. The only thing was, the Honda duo have been on the podium with him at every single round since then, and to be honest, Kullas has not been able to repeat that dominance at all since then. Of course, he's a fast starter and can ride any track well, we all know that, but he's had problems this year getting fully dialed in to the all-new 2023 Yamaha, which has not been helped by a shortage of parts to fit the bike. Now at the last round at Blacksall, he said the YZF is now sorted, and he said his season kind of starts then. Well, if that's the truth, then realistically he's third best at the moment. He was third at Blacksall with two distant thirds behind the Honda men. Then at the new Monster Mountain MX Nationals, he had two hole shots and was third both times again. Granted, he lost second to Conrad Mewse on the last lap when backmarkers got in the way, but that was after Mewse had come through the pack. But Kullas is good in the sand, and although he has bike problems at Hawkstone International at the start of the year, he will be quick. Fast enough to beat the Hondas? Well, he's been beaten by both Honda riders at the last three championship events, Monster Mountain, Blacksall and Vauxhall, and in the last moto at Ling in the round before that too. So he's been beaten by both Honda riders in the last 6 championship motos in a row, and that's got to hurt. Can he come back from that? Yeah, of course he can. He's a professional and very, very fast. Now despite all that, Kullas is still second in the series, just 7 points behind Mewse, who finally wrenched the red plate from him at the last round at Blacksall. And to be honest, Mewse was in incredible form at the track. It was round 4 of the series, and Mewse did the clean sweep. He set the fastest time in qualifying, he won both motos, set the fastest lap, and took the red plate as championship leader. But he was chased home both times by his Honda teammate Gilbert, who took second overall, and they had a few close battles during the day. Sometimes maybe a bit too close for teammates, but that makes great racing. It was role reversal from the previous round at Vauxhall, where Gilbert clearly had the upper hand over his teammate. Now until that point, 23-year-old Mewse was still without a race win in the Premier Series, and admitted he hadn't been in top form at the last round at Vauxhall. So he went testing abroad and arrived at the track with new motivation and confidence, and he was simply brilliant. I moved forward to Monster Mountain for the MX Nationals, and Mewse also dominated the first moto from Gilbert, then had a bad start and fought through to second behind Gilbert in race 2. Now you might think that shows Mewse had the upper hand in pace, but in that second moto the pair were virtually identical on lap times. Yes, you could say Mewse was in traffic, that slowed him down, or you could say Gilbert was on his own at the front and managing his lead. Either way, both Honda riders have awesome pace at the moment, and with Gilbert still only third in the series, 11 points behind Mewse, it's a good chance for him to make up as much ground as he can this weekend. Now the two of them have spent the past 2 weeks doing all they can to get ready. Mewse spent 7 days testing in the sands of Holland and Belgium, and also went to a Scottish Championship in the sand of Doon, where of course he won. Now Gilbert, we all know, is just so fast on hard track, and also he's really quick on sand, but he knows the competition is tough. So he spent 12 days on the continent pounding out the laps, getting everything dialed on deep sand tracks. They're both fully prepared, and it's going to be a crucial weekend for both of them. Of course, that might seem like we're writing off their rivals, and at Hawkstone they will have renewed competition from Gas rider Ivo Monticelli. Now the Italian was rapid at the Oakhanger opener, and he really pushed Kullas in that first race. but he crashed and broke his arm at the start of race 2. But now he's back, maybe a bit ring rusty though, and he was quick in his return at Monster Mountain, but not close enough to bother the podium men. Now he's had another week to get back to speed and has had a good time riding in Scotland with his teammate John Adamson. And speaking of Adamson, last year at Hawkstone in the MX Nationals he crashed big time while trying a mega double. Now John is fast and fearless. He can get good starts and he can go very fast, no question. It's about time we saw him pushing for wins again, and Hawkstone is a good track for him. Now the event will also mark a return from Tommy Searle, the defending champion. He crashed a few days before the last round at Blacksall and hurt the ribs he damaged at the start of the year in his mega crash at Oakhanger. So he sat Blacksall out. Now he's back at Hawkstone and we all know how good he is, even if he's not 100% fit. The guy's got such incredible talent on a bike. He can go quick anywhere. Now Tommy was signed up as a wildcard to ride the World Supercross opener in Birmingham in July alongside his teammate Dylan Walsh, until of course they both got injured. But this week the team decided Tommy now won't do the Supercross but progress with the outdoors in the UK. And with Birmingham opener being on the night before the British round at Schoolhouse, it looks like a sensible decision to pull him out. Now as for Walsh, here's a little scoop for you. After breaking his leg in AMA Supercross, he's back on a bike at the moment, but won't ride Hawkstone as he's not completely fit. He's actually in New Zealand at the moment. But when he returns, he will be on a 450 in MX1. They're a bit easier to ride fast, and it means Mel Pocock can stay on the MX2 bike for the Revo team for the rest of the year. And of course, Billy Askew, the teenager who's doing great things in the youth MXY2 classes, will be with the team next year, and he'll be moving up to MX2 in the adults and doing some European races too. So going back to MX1, Evgeny Bobryshev is getting faster and more comfortable all the time and climbing the championship ladder. Now we all know how quick he is, and he's just getting back into the groove after his enforced ban from racing due to sanctions against Russian athletes. He's also getting quicker every week and moving up the championship, just like South African Tristan Purden on the Gabriel KTM. Now sadly the event will be without Martin Barr, who, like Simpson, crashed in practice in Blacksall. Now while Simpson spent 4 days in hospital, Barr actually raced at the event and finished 6th. Then he went to hospital where the extent of his injuries were uncovered. Now he's not raced then, but he's now back on a bike. He's not 100% fit enough. He had a little shakedown ride this week, but decided it's too much to race Hawkstone this weekend, but he will be back soon. Sadly, a non-starter is Jay Haig, who's not had a great season so far on the Kawasaki. He crashed at the Scottish Championship last weekend and was smashed into the ground by his bike. He broke his femur, he's already undergone surgery, and he's doing pretty well as can be expected. Now with the top 3 men holding a commanding lead in the series, the battle for 4th place is actually red hot. Currently 4th by a single point is Ashton Dickinson. Now really he's still coming back from injuries, but he's showing great determination and he's been GP racing in recent weeks to try and get back up to some sort of awesome speed that we know he's capable of. He has a slim 1-point lead in that race for 4th from another tough northerner, Brad Todd. So in that momentous crash-riddled opening practice at Blacksall, Todd was actually the first to go down hard. He went right over the bars. Now like Barr, he also battled through the day despite feeling absolutely second-hand. Afterwards he got checked out at hospital and he had a list of injuries too. Now he is back for Hawkstone, and with 10 points covering 6 riders in that battle for 4th place, he's going to be going as hard as he can. There's up-and-coming riders like Liam Knight, Tom Grimshaw and Jamie Carpenter right behind them too, so there'll be battles right through the points. Now in the MX2 class, leading the pack, it's no surprise, it's GP rider Isaac Gifting, who again took a double win at Blacksall. He was simply unstoppable there. It's plain to see how talented and quick he is. But behind him is British teenager Bobby Bruce, who always seems to get incredible starts and has immense speed. Now, he's 41 points adrift of Gifting, but has had some decent GP rides last week and is targeting his first win in the series. He's just a couple of points in front of former British MX2 champ, double champ actually, Elliot Banks-Brown. Now a part-time racer, but one who's just so naturally talented and quick. Like at Foxhill, when he took his first win in the series for a decade. There's also Taylor Hamill and Charlie Cole, now a GP rider for the Dixon team, so it's going to be an awesome weekend of racing. And the main classes are also joined by the youths on 65s, 85s and 125 and 250F in MXY2. And with no live streaming, we've got to be there. And check out MotoHead magazine, our website, YouTube channel and social media for all the updates, of course.